there's been quite a lot that has actually happened recently. We've seen that there was a petition that was raised that gathered over 100,000 signatures to it. It was then debated in the House of Commons. I sat through the whole 3.5 hours of the actual debate that happened, and I was quite heartened to see that a lot of MPs knew some of the fundamental issues, things that we've been blogging about or talking about on AccountingWEB. They raise these things such as seasonality. Are tax assessments going to be levied to this? Are we looking at full returns? Are we looking at tax adjusted profits? Are we looking at accounting submissions? And one of the things that I think that HMRC and indeed David Gork MP has tried to dispel is the fact that HMRC are looking at quarterly submission of accounting information that will be submitted to the personal tax account, and on one level HMRC may say, based on this, here's a tax estimate upon which maybe a payment on account can be made or not, I don't know. At the other end, because again Mr Gork was pressed on the issue by a number of MPs, are tax assessments going to be raised upon this? He said it's going to be put out to consultation. Dare I say it, I do think that they probably will at some point. Maybe not initially, but maybe at some point in the future. I don't know. We ourselves, TaxCalc and being part of BASDA, we have said that we fed back to HMRC through different channels that we don't think that is actually the correct thing to be doing. All questions need to be asked about what does it mean? Are there going to be transitional arrangements? Are we looking at tax adjusted figures? Are we looking at having to do formal sets of accounts? We just don't know at this point in time. This information feeds into the personal tax account. Personal tax account is the property of the taxpayer. There's a business tax account as well, and that's the property of a business. The business tax account will look at POE, VAT, corporation tax, and so on. Third-party tax software, such as TaxCalc, will be able to, through the accountant's government gateway credentials, so through their sign-in, be able to access that taxpayer's data, so access their client's data. The accountant themselves, as things stand at the moment, will not be able to directly access it. They won't be able to go into their client's tax account and go and get this information for themselves. They'd have to use a third-party means to do so. So what it means for TaxCalc is the fact that we are already building, because this is part of the API strategy, we're already building new APIs, and new interfaces will appear in TaxCalc, which will enable the end user to authorize their software. So authorize the software, not authorizing TaxCalc, the company, but authorizing the software on their computer to access that taxpayer data on the taxpayer's behalf. And because things like the 64.8 are already in place, so HMRC are going to carry forward the 64.8 database, so there won't be new setups required or anything like that, new authorizations, but they're about to carry that information forward so the practitioner can go and access that. And in the first instance, we're looking at 3 particular kinds of API. There's one to do with national insurance, so have particular elections been made, the amount of national insurance that might have been paid across an employment, so it'd be calculated for self-employment. We're looking at the marriage allowance as well. Has an election been made to transfer part of that allowance? And the third one is to do with POE for payroll information, so be able to access a taxpayer's tax account, personal tax account, and in tax account terms, fetch P60, P11D information and populate an employment page already. When it comes to the matter of clicking of a button, what was said in the MP's debate, in the Commons debate, was HMRC are looking for accounting information, particularly a summary of that accounting information. So I take that to be maybe a profit and loss account. You end up with an accounting profit, and they want to have a copy of that accounting profit. Now, I mean, some of the arguments put forward for why they would want that is there was an assertion that was made that small businesses stick all their records into a bag or whatever and then lose them, and there was something like a tax gap of 6.5 billion, which would be closed by businesses keeping more regular records. Now, going back to that piece of research, it actually said that all these businesses were actually keeping records. So, I don't know really know how that works. But that's what they were putting the point forward. Other MPs were asking, should this be a tax-adjusted accounting profit? So a tax-adjusted profit, because upon which you would have claims for capital allowances, maybe loss offsets, all sorts of different add-backs, all sorts of different things that would actually happen that take that accounting profit and turn it into a taxable profit. There's no real answer given on that. It's open to consultation. There's going to be preliminary consultation in the spring, and then there's going to be further consultation afterwards. I would say to practitioners, to county bodies, to other developers as well, we need to be part of that consultation. We need to be getting answers, and if HMRC want to take in a particular direction that we don't feel is the right way of doing it, we should help them come to the right conclusion. We've had experience of this before with identity assurance, and if we hadn't got involved, everybody now would be using the government gateway, everyone would be using identity assurance and going to get identity accounts just like citizens are at this point in time. So it's really, really important that the industry, both the software profession and the accountancy profession upon which we rely for our livings, we do get involved.